All right, so Kevin, let's try this. So, music theory. So, real quick, um, and I've got this here. I can send a picture of you. But basically, there are seven notes in the major scale, and they're numbered one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, and eight, which is an octave. You'll hear octave. That means it's the eighth step, and it goes actually back to home. Eight really is back home to the one note. That's the key note. So one and eight are the same. It's whatever note you're in the key of. So if we're in the key of a G, like this, that's both a one and an eight. So I found that there are ways to think about all of these notes because they're hard if you don't kind of give them personalities. So, and I'll send this to you here, but there is so we're in a G, so this is a one, right? Two is one step up. It's a whole step up. Two is kind of, so one, this is the base, this is the foundation, this is everything you need to kind of have somebody know what the song is about, what key it's in. So this is like what I call the executive committee, right? So this is like the Jim, the Teds, the Wilsons, right? I call it, and maybe even Ogre, although Ogre, I put him in a little different category as well. But this is kind of, you need it, right? That tells you what, Jane says is in G. That's the G. But it would be boring if you only stayed in that one note, that home key note. So that's why we have all the other notes. The first note in the major scale is the second. That is, so here's G on the third fret of the low E string. You go one step up. That is the second note in G. That's an A. It's very mysterious, right? Two, you hear a lot of second notes and second chords. I'll give you some examples in another episode. You get the second, a lot of the second stuff. It's mysterious. It's kind of neutered. You're not sure if it's where it's going. And so those are the personalities I give to the Sonnets, the Bill Mahalseys, maybe even a little bit of Phil Wright. Phil had a little mysteriousness to him, but I also put him somewhere else too. But there's a very sort of mysterious nature to that too. You don't run into it a whole lot. The second note or the second chord in sort of rock and pop music, but when you do, you hear it, you're like, that sounds different. So it's kind of like Sonnet and Mahalsey showing up to a party. You're like, whoa, they're here, great, it's awesome, and it can lead to a great time, but they're not very present. So one, two. That's a full step, right? So it's it's a whole step. It's two steps up to the A. There's a third. It's two more steps up, and this is the key in a major scale. The 2 to 3 jump is 2 steps. So from the 3rd fret to the 5th fret. Piano, it's the same thing. It's a black key and then back to a white key, if you will. So there. So this is the third. This is the volatile son of a bitch. This is the moody guy in the entire, if you will, scale, right? Because it's also determines if the song is major or minor. Goes back and forth. We'll talk about minor later. So I called the 3. The perfect 3 is like the Dodge, right? Are you going out tonight? Yeah, I am. Then 5 minutes later, no, I'm not. But the 3 is moody, right? So Scal's a good 3. Brent's a good 3. Even Ogre's a good 3. Even though you might say Ogre's a 1, Ogre could be a 3 too, right? He's major, he's minor, kind of. And again, you need 3s in music because 3 is a part of a chord, right? It's a 1, 3, and a 5 is what makes up any sort of major chord. You need a 3, but you're not sure if it's major or minor, and it could change on any given song. So 1 on again the 3rd fret on the low E string, G. 2 steps up is an A. That's 2. 2 more steps up to the 7th fret on the low E. That is I guess the same on piano. That would be a B. Here is where the tension comes in. So this is your first half step. So the 4, most scale sort of progressions have a 2-step jump. For the 4, it's 1, goes from 7 to 8. And it's the same way on piano. It's only a one key move. This is the tension. This is what I was talking about with Blister in the Sun. I'll show you in a little bit. Or frankly, Lonely Old Night is even a better example of it. This is tension. So I call this kind of the Tyndall. Vince is a good 4-chord. I tend to view myself as more of a 4-chord as well. Even you, Schmoody, you're a bit of a 4-chord, right? There's some tension to you. And these are all said with love, guys, but everyone has to know where they fall within the grand scheme of the scale. So that half step up from the 3, that's the 4. From the 4, you go a full step up. So again, a full step, 2 steps, whole step to the 10th fret on the low E string. This is the 5th. Again, this is like the Buddy, right? If you had only a song with 1 and a 5 note, it would be music, right? A lot of when they teach how to play bass, they're saying just stick on the 1, stick on the 5 notes, go back and forth. Don't give a shit what the guitar player is playing, what the piano player is playing. You need a 1 and a 5, and you can hold down the entire song. So these are the safe good buddies, if you will, right? So these are the Morses, these are the Jakes, these are the Seelofts. Anyone that's not the president of the house, pretty much. These are the Todds, these are the Wolves, these are the Culvers, right? Those sort of steady, they're there, and if you had them and the president, you'd be fine, right? Not this isn't to motherfuck anybody else, but it's just sort of to give you guys an idea. But again, 1 and a 5, if you don't have any of the other stuff, it might sound good, but it's not going to be a hit record, right? You need some other stuff. And so then you move up 2 steps to the 6. So this would be the 12th fret. So you go from the 10th fret to the 12th fret. Again, on piano, it's 2 keys. That would be to the 6th. The 6th, I'm still trying to figure out what the 6th is, but the 6th is present in pop music all around. So I consider the 6th to be stuff that you need in a song to make it a hit. So for example, Kernan, Neil, Phil, I also place you kind of in a 6th, right? Kind of, they're there. They don't fit into the chord, if you will, the 1, 3, 5, which is the 3 notes of any major chord, but they're a part of a sort of any popular music has a 6, right? And then up from that, you go 2 frets, 2 steps on the piano. That's the 7th. The 7th, it's there. It's not played a lot. And sort of, it's a weird chord, like there's weird fingerings and all that, but it's 2 steps up from the 6th is the 7th. I call the 7th like the guys that you never saw at all that studied for the MCAT for all 4 years in the fraternity. You maybe see them every once in a while at chapter, but you wouldn't really see them. So from the 7, and then you take a half step up from 7 back to the 8 or back home to the keynote, which 8 is synonymous with 1, octave 8. You're back home. And so that now you're back at the Jims, the Teds, the Ogres, the Scotties, etc. So that is it. So it's starting with your home key, 1, 2 steps up to 2. This is Sonnet Mahalsey. 2 steps up to a major third. Again, the major third is happy. So this is when Scal, when Brent are happy. This is when Ogre's happy. This is when J Dodge is going to go out. That's the 3rd. The 4th, it's 10th. It's like, where did that come from? That's the Vince. That's the me, the Schmoody, the Tyndall, right? Super Bowl Sunday, my junior year. Back up to 5th. This makes sense. This is good. This is a part of the chord. This is the safe companion. The Morse, the Jakes, the Seelofts, etc. Todd, the Wolf, Culver, all you guys. The 6th, it's just a part of a great song. It's the Kernans, the Phils, the Neils, etc. The 7th, it's just, again, 2 steps up. It's kind of, it's there. It's not a huge part. And then back home to our presidents. And so this is video 1.